Hey everyone, welcome to this conversation. So for this chat, I thought of bringing along someone from my past who helped me build my knowledge in the cybersecurity career. This is Flavio. He is joining us from Brazil, where he is building a community, but also building his own pathway towards certification and towards building a community of cybersecurity professionals. Hello, Flavio. Thanks so much for joining. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your career?
For sure. Andrea, thanks for having me. It's very nice to speak with you and, leveraging this context where we are now in our careers. It's such a joy to take a look in the past to see where we were to where we are now. So I'm very happy with this and all the different paths our career took to lead us to where we are right now. So it's really a pleasure to have this conversation with you. So thanks a lot. My name is Flavio. I work currently as a BDE here at Fortinet. BDE is a business development engineer. So essentially, I offer consultant services for different companies in the enterprise segment in LATAM. So all the Latin America and Canada as well, within a competency area that we call here at Fortinet SecOps, which is security operations. But before that, I used to work at Cisco for a very long time. That's where I met Andrea. I just took that decision very recently, to be honest, to move to Fortinet, to this new career, this new challenge. But I'm very happy where I am right now. And also beyond all of that, I'm also a CompTIA instructor for the Security Plus certification. So I'm also working towards to write a book about CISA Plus certification, which is another intermediary level certification for security in the cybersecurity career path of CompTIA certifications. I'm doing this with a company called BPB Publications. So hopefully by the end of the year, we're going to have published this book, hopefully. And I'm also a professor at a local university here in Brazil. And if it was not enough,
yeah,
I also have the
doing
YouTube
a lot.
channel.
Yeah, you got a YouTube channel, yeah.
Yeah, I got my YouTube channel. It's called Uncomplicated Security, if I may. Segurança Descomplicada in Portuguese. Where I try to, uncomplicate, as the name implies, this topic, which is very complicated for all of us. I can imagine that it's also complicated for, the ones that are starting their careers. So my main objective is to try to, create analogies, create some sort of explanations that are entry level, if that makes sense. So yeah, my YouTube channel is there for the new folks and also for the technical folks that wants to have a new vision or a different way to see how some of those topics can be explained, right, from a different perspective, maybe. A simplified perspective, but that's the main objective of my channel, and that's something that I'm also doing on LinkedIn, on Instagram. So I'm sorry, but all the content are in Portuguese, so I don't know if your followers gonna like it or understand it. Yeah. But yeah, that's essentially me and what I'm doing when it comes to my professional side.
Yeah, no, it's a lot that you've summarized. To be honest, when I look back into when we met each other at Cisco, I remember you were Cisco security. Were you an architect back then or an engineer? And I remember your story back then. You used to be working with these comedians in Brazil, and and then of course you were working in tech a little afterwards, and of course your career just took off over the last 7-8 years. So it's amazing to see that. Congratulations on that, by the way. And look, it's been amazing to follow you on all the social medias and see the kind of work you're doing, particularly around CompTIA, right? Because I think when I started seeing your development, when I noticed you focusing your your content on CompTIA, I noticed that's when, well, that's my perception anyway, right? I started seeing you dedicate yourself to a little bit of that piece of work, and a lot of the, well, you're writing a book nowadays, and you're being a professor. I think a lot of that came from your dedication to certifications, yeah, and
100%.
maybe even CompTIA, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about how that started for you, and why you chose to go down that path?
Oh yeah, I owe everything that I have right now essentially to Cisco, of course, because I essentially started my career there, and for CompTIA because everything happened so fast when I started the career path towards the CompTIA certifications. Even my role as an instructor at CompTIA, I got it over LinkedIn because of the certifications that I was achieving. So every time that I passed an exam, I was posting something, and every time that I fail, I was posting as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's very important to be transparent with your feelings, to showcase to my followers and this community that I built that I'm a human being, right? I'm not a computer. I'm not a deterministic machine. So I fail, I make mistakes, and there's sometimes that I don't want to study at all, that I'm tired, that I just want to, turn off all my computers and go to bed and sleep. So I really value that honesty, that transparency.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that those values, it's what brought me here essentially on this position in terms of a digital influencer, if I may. I don't like that statement, but it is what it is. But it's funny because I started all that journey just because I wanted to improve my presentation skills in terms of I understand that you can't actually know how to defend a network or how to build defenses overall if you don't understand actually how an attack works, right? So my approach in terms of teaching students and the people that I mentor, it's actually over the attack, right? So I want to show you how the attack works, so you can take this knowledge and transform the other way around. Like, if you understand how the attack works, you're gonna understand better how to defend against this attack, right? But I don't know how to attack. So where I need to look to in order to understand more of this red team perspective, right? Like pen testing and all that kind of stuff. And I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I mean, there's a lot of great content out there. So if I want to learn something, the first thing I'm gonna do is actually to look for a certification, because certification is nothing less but a framework that is already built by professionals, by specialists in the market, that shows you what you need to learn in order to have this certification, right? In order to become certified. So if there's one certification about pen testing or about red team, actions, and this is already there, it means that someone already took this path and someone knows what they have to know.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I mean, there's certified ethical hacker. Okay, that's a little bit basic, but still, it's there. It's valuable. Companies appreciate the certification. They require that for some specific job and for some specific roles. There's OSCP, right? I mean, there's a lot of different certification options. So I was looking for something more basic, like a junior penetration tester kind of pathway of learn,
Yeah.
So I started to do capture the flags, like started to take a look on websites like Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, all those content. And at some point when I was studying about pen testing, I realized that, man, there's so much that I need to review in terms of the basics of the essentials of networking that I don't even remember what are the OSI layers or TCP/IP
Yeah.
stack. So I need to review that. So what I did, essentially the same. I was looking for certifications that have a framework of learning path of what I need to know in terms of networking. And come on, I worked at Cisco. I know that, right? I studied that in the past. But at that point in time of my career, it has been like eight years, 7 or 8 years that I was studying for the CCNA, for the basics.
Yeah.
So if you spend like 7 years without actually remember anything of that, you're gonna forget, right? So
Gotta practice.
I only, yeah, I mean, I didn't want to take the whole path of CCNA because it's a lot of stuff, and I don't need to learn everything. I just need to review some of the aspects within networking, right? So I was looking for other options, other certifications with this framework of learning that could serve as a review, right? So that's where I found CompTIA Network Plus. So that was the first thing that I did. And actually, it's kind of funny because of that. I started like as the opposite of anyone that would start right now. I started with Network Plus just because I needed to review some networking fundamental concepts. And when I finished my revision, I just realized that I studied like 80% of the exam content. And I was like, if I take the exam and pass, that means that I actually know this. So I'm going to use this just as a tool to confirm that I know the basics.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it, And I'm taking a look at right now at my exam history. And I took the Network Plus certification on February the 10th of 2022. So it's not that long ago, right?
Just, 2022.
Basically 2 years. 2 years ago. So that was the first CompTIA certification that I took, and I passed. So I was like, okay, I reviewed networking concepts. I know it. Let me go back to study for pen testing. Let me go back to OSCP and all the other fun stuff about hacking, right? Yeah. Because that's everything that everyone wants to know. Everyone that wants to work in cybersecurity wants to start with hacking, and that's the most misconcept ever, because you can hack anything if you don't know how this works. If you don't know the fundamentals. So I'm always telling people about the fundamentals. About you have to know networking basics. You have to know operating system basics, programming skills as well. Yeah. But it's not all about hard skills. It's about soft skills as well that you need to develop. So there's so much that you need to learn that I understand that it's kind of frustrating to people that want to start with cybersecurity, because they just realize that I cannot start with cybersecurity. I mean, you can. There's options nowadays, but essentially everyone that is in the industry right now, like with more or less our age, we didn't start with cybersecurity. We started with something else. I started with networking. I bet you too, right?
Yeah, me too.
You too. So, I mean, we are here right now working with cybersecurity, but it's a long path. It's not something easy, and that's my major criticism against all those courses that people sell in the internet, like become a hacker in 30. Yeah, from zero to hero, you're gonna be a hacker, right? That doesn't exist. I mean, you can use a tool like I have Flipper Zero, for example, like I have all the cool Hack5 gadgets and stuff. Yeah. And I can perform some pen testing on Wi-Fi networking. But even though, I can use tools like Wi-Fi Pineapple, if I don't understand how Wi-Fi networking works, if I don't know WPA, if I don't know the four-way handshake protocol, all this kind of stuff, it's going to be useless, right? Yeah. So that's why I insist on that. So going back to the history with CompTIA, that's the main reason why I started to look for CompTIA certifications. But I only, I thought back then that CompTIA had only Network Plus. I didn't know all the other certifications. And when I realized that it was not only Network Plus, and I figured out that CompTIA has Pentest Plus as well, I was like, that's where I'm gonna move next, because that's what I want to learn, right? And I only wanted to learn pen testing and all these red team skills just to improve my presentations of the products that I need to sell. Because if you think about it, what's the best approach to sell a firewall or a web proxy or any other security solution? If I showcase how the solution works. And I was tired just to, open up the GUI and show the menus and, this and that. I wanted to show an attack and the product actually working. So that's the main reason why I started to learn pen testing. So I was back on track to try to study for Pentest Plus, but I realized that CompTIA also has Security Plus, and Pentest Plus, it's on another level. So Security Plus, security is what I do, so I feel like obligated to take Security Plus as well before I take Pentest, and that's what I did. But I just realized that there was so much stuff on that exam, and I took the 601 version, that I need to review other topics as well.
Yeah.
And it was funny because back then I thought I knew a lot about cybersecurity in general. And when I was studying for Security Plus, I realized that, man, there's so much thing that I don't know, that I didn't even know that exist, So it was such an eye-opener for me, that I was so glad that I, got to know CompTIA and Security Plus, that I took like 30 days, more or less. For me, with my expertise, it was enough to study for Security Plus. So 30 days studying every single day, every single night, like 6 hours per day. It was crazy, but I managed to study and take the exam in 30 days, and I passed. But even before that, I figured out that CompTIA has this scheme of stackable certifications. So if you pass multiple certifications, you can, gain another one. And looking at the cybersecurity certification path, I realized that was another certification even more basic, which is A+. And I was like, if I took like Network Plus in 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe I can take A+ in just 1 week. So that's what I'm going to do. So I start to review the topics. I start to study for A+. It's 2 exams, not only one.
Oh, for A+?
The first one, for A+ is 2. One it's for operation systems, and the other is focused on hardware. So you're gonna understand how the computer works, like what are the components, CPU, the memory, the hard drives. Very, very basic. But for printers as well, which was something that I was not very much familiar with. But anyways, I studied 1 week for each exam. Study 1 week, took the exam, passed. Study another week, took the other exam, and passed. And now I got Network Plus, A+, and I was moving towards Security Plus.
Yeah.
So with that, if you summarize, if you sum up all those certifications, you got basically 2 extra certifications. For some reason, and that's something on my profile, if I may, I was like, I'm gonna do all of them. I don't care. I'm gonna do them all because I just want to, accumulate all those stacks, and that's what I'm gonna do. So I completely forgot about Pentest Plus. I was just focused on acquiring all possible certs that I could from CompTIA. So
certification hoarder.
I started with Network Plus, went for A+, then Security Plus by March. So I started, this learning path with certification from CompTIA in February, and by the end of March, I got all those 3 certifications, and that called attention from CompTIA itself.
Mhm.
So everything that I was posting, not only regarding my work, of course, some stuff in English as well, but a lot of stuff in Portuguese. Someone from CompTIA saw all those certifications, all those stories, and invited me for interview to become an instructor at CompTIA.
Yeah,
So
cool.
it was just because of that, just because I got the certifications and I was promoting CompTIA as well,
Yeah.
and talking about it on social media, that I was
And
invited for,
and if you allow me,
a
I think
job.
your strategic approach to, hey, let me stack and get this combo or bundled stacks called even more attention, right? So that strategic
Yeah.
approach that you took and understanding how their framework works
Yeah.
was really,
So
really
I
core to it.
essentially, I essentially draw a path, like showing all the CompTIA certs in an image. So this is A plus, this is CASP plus, the last one, the expert level.
Yeah.
And I was like, this one check, that one check mark as well. So the next one is that, and I'm also gonna do this one and this one and this one and this one.
Oh.
So I truly believe that called attention, like this displaying, and to have this map and the certainty what I was trying to achieve, you know. So one of the recruiters saw that and said, and asked me, you are really going to take all the certifications? And I was like, yeah, just because I wanted. I mean, it was not a requirement. Cisco was not asking me for certifications whatsoever. So I just wanted to do for the sake of, for the fun, for the stacks, to learn and to improve my own skills, you know. It was a very kind of, well, certifications in general are selfish objective, right?
For the most part,
analyze on that perspective. But only so the last one was Security Plus in March. I was studying other stuff, you know, focusing on my career at Cisco. But eventually, by the end of the year, it was crazy because I was studying so much. You know, I was doing a lot of stuff that just in December I realized, man, I think now that I'm working at CompTIA and giving classes to students all over the world, but especially for the DoD department, the Department of Defense in the United States.
Yep, the US.
I just think that if I take the CISA Plus exam, I can pass. But working at CompTIA, you have an advantage, right? Because I have access to all the materials, and the official materials are the best ones for sure. There's nothing like that because it's from the source, right? And I have free vouchers, so I don't need to spend, a penny, nothing, purchasing the vouchers and take the exams. So that for me, it's like a piece of spirit to take a certification that is, you know, literally priceless, right? So I was like, okay, if I don't pass, I just, you know, wait 1 week or 2 weeks and I'm gonna take another one again, right? So I was so comfortable with that thought, like I can just ask for a voucher and take the certification. And if I don't pass, that's okay. I can request another one, and that's free. And there's no limits. I mean,
yes,
you know what I'm saying, right? Theoretically, but that gave me, you know, this peace of mind to take the certification that most of the professionals out there they don't have, because you have to pay for it, and it's not cheap, right? Especially for us in Brazil, there's like 5 times more because of the currency changes. So only because of that, I decided to take the CISA Plus certification, and I passed.
Oh, cool! Congrats!
Yeah, thanks. And just like 1 week after, I had the same thought about Pentest Plus. And the thing with pen testing is that, you know, although it's a discipline that requires a more practical skill, for CompTIA, it was very theoretic, you know. And to be very honest, taking off my CompTIA badge. This is basically on the way that it's now the only certification that I don't actually recommend people to pursue, because I think it's too much theoretic. You know,
Sure.
I think there's other options in the market that's gonna be even more in terms of the time you spend, the money you're going to spend, and anything else. You're going to have more advantages at this point in time. I know
Yeah.
that CompTIA is working, towards updating the certification. But the way it is now, I do recommend other options in the market, like OSCP, for example.
Yeah.
But anyways, I took Pentest Plus fast, and I was like, okay, I'm going to study for CAS Plus, which is the expert level. And to be very honest, I was studying for CISP, CISSP from IC Square for like three years already, and that's basically the competitor, right?
Yeah.
Those are equivalent.
Is it the same level? Yeah, they're equivalent.
Yeah. I would say it's the same level, just because CAS Plus, it requires more technical skills, so it's technically focused, for in terms of security analyst. On the other hand, CISSP, it's more managerial, right? In a sense, like it's a management certification.
Definitely, yeah.
So that's another view, another experience that you need to have, and I believe that's way more difficult, way more advanced on what they require and how the exam looks like. But anyways, it's kind of equivalent. So I, with this peace of mind of free vouchers, I took CAS Plus 1 week later and it passed.
Oh, awesome!
So yeah, like one year of a lot of study. It's something that I definitely do not recommend to anyone, because my career in my certifications, they went up, but my health, it was like the worst year ever. Like I decided to pay the price, because I was motivated, I was studying a lot, but it was tough, man. I mean, I went to the hospital at least twice. I believe I don't have this diagnostic, but I believe that I got burnouts for sure.
Got it.
Because I was doing a lot of stuff. But after I passed the CISA Plus certification by the beginning of 2023, I was invited by BPP Publications to write this book for CISA Plus. So if you look back on everything that I achieved, just looking for certifications, especially from CompTIA, I got a lot of visibility. I got a job opportunity. I got this opportunity to write a book. So yeah, that's why I'm always recommending CompTIA and their certifications to anyone that wants to improve their skills and their career. So that's essentially my 360 view of my career from the past 2 years.
2 years, yeah. Wow, it's such a short time span to achieve a lot of things, and great testimonial on the career impact it's had, right? So thank you for that.
Yeah.
But also on the personal impact that it's had as well, on how much time you put into all of it.
Sorry, just one thing that I think it's super important to tell is that back then I sum up all the certifications that I got. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 certifications. But if you count the stacks, I believe it's 13.
Got it. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm trying to build my personal image on social media. I have a YouTube channel. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a video saying how I achieved 13 certification in a year, which is something, if you think about it, it's amazing, right? But I gave up of doing that video, because that's not the reality that I want to transmit. That's not, as I was saying before, it's not realistic. I got this peace of mind because for me the vouchers were free. I got a lot of incentive from Cisco itself, especially from my manager back then. I don't have kids. I completely decided to, put aside all my social life. I was studying hours and hours every single day. So there's a lot of variables
Sure.
on my life that made this possible. And it was not a good decision. So I don't want to pass the image that it's possible. I mean, it's possible. It is because I did it, right?
Yeah.
But it's not
Sustainable.
it's not realistic. It's not sustainable, and it's
Yeah.
not healthy at all.
Yeah.
If you put a planning to take 13 certifications in a year, so I gave up of doing such video because that's not the message that I want to transmit, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, great aspect, yeah, because yeah. Trying to balance and getting a good mental and professional and personal, balancing all of
Very
it,
important.
it's always a challenge. Well, despite the challenge, it's extremely impressive track and achievements you've made over the course of 2 years. And what I'm also very thankful for is your efforts to build a community out of all of this, and you cultivate and you incentivize people through different ways, right? So you mentioned your Instagram, so I'm gonna pop these into the description of the video. Of course, mostly in Portuguese, but for anyone watching, if you speak Portuguese, definitely jump into those forums to learn more, get more out of the community in Brazil, and of course, doing other channels too, LinkedIn and so on and so forth. So, yeah, congrats on all of that. Of course, really appreciate your time, Flavio.
Sure.
Are there any last words you'd like to leave to everyone? I mean, you made a lot of great insights, right? Left a lot of recommendations on career, but also personal level. But any last words?
Yeah. Maybe to just to summarize our entire conversation, like learn the basics. If you're starting your career, or even if you are a senior engineer or security professional, don't forget the basics, and don't be ashamed to look back and say, I need to review this type of content, because this is important and this is something that I exercise every single day. I mean, I was just yesterday talking with a C-level from a company here in Brazil about NIST cybersecurity framework, and the importance to align that with the cybersecurity objectives from the company. And it's funny as it sounds and impressive as well. The CISO didn't know at least the in and outs of the cybersecurity framework. I mean, he understands what it is, but he doesn't know how to apply it. And for a C-level, I think that's something that you cannot. That's not something you can miss, right? So you need to know the basics of what you're doing to be a better professional and to be able to teach others. Mostly of everything that I did, it was to have the experience to recommend to others what they can do. Like I'm a person that I cannot recommend something to you if I don't have the experience before. I'm not going to recommend Security Plus if I don't have the knowledge and the experience to go through all the learning journey and the certification itself. I need to have this experience to say, yeah, I recommend it because I did. I know the good side and the downside as well. So that's why I'm recommending this to you, because I have the experience by my own experience, right? So this is very important. So that's also one of the reasons why for all my students, all my mentees, that I did all the certifications, because now I know, yeah, I can recommend that one, but yeah, maybe not that one for you or for your context or for where you are in your career right now. And that's the same reason why I took the new one from IC Square, the CC, the Certified Cybersecurity. Yeah, I did the same. So I did this just because I wanted to know if it's good to recommend to someone. So yeah, I think that's it. But thanks for having me again. It was very nice talking with you, and I hope, hopefully, someone can take some insights and from our conversation overall.
Hey, hopefully found the video useful. If you are keen to hear more and find out more about these sort of solutions and topics, please make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.